to go for it.
All right. Now, this is not good news for Devondre Sweat. This from Dane Brugler, a very good NFL draft insider. Devondre Sweat was arrested over the weekend for a DUI. According to a team source, Sweat has been upfront with NFL teams about his partying as an underclassman and made it a point of emphasis in interviews that it was all in the past. Obviously, yesterday's incident, 3 weeks from the draft, won't help answer any concerns with teams.
I'm trying to, are jokes valid here? I guess nobody got hurt. I was just going to say they seem SEC ready now, Texas. I mean, just with the number of car situations there seemingly has been in the SEC, and I'm not making light of anything, but that's obviously not a good thing to see when you're this close to the NFL draft, and wasn't aware of any of the talk behind the scenes that that was an issue. That's what those NFL teams go and do, though. They find every thing about you, every possible negative, every positive, everything about you. They're gonna somehow or another find out through somebody, if not you yourself. And so, I mean, they clearly touched on that, and to see this is not a good sign that he's getting into trouble on this type of a level. Just very fortunate, in all seriousness, that nobody got hurt, because that's always the realistic possibility. I look at that 4:40 in the morning. I mean, obviously you liquored up. Can't say I've always made the smartest decisions in the world, but thank God I'm way past that age group of thinking that stuff like that could even possibly fly. So, again, just like a lot of these stories that we seem to get nowadays, just glad that it's not worse, because we have seen worse in some cases, whether it was Henry Ruggs or the Georgia story. Obviously was a tough one as well. So, or
the one we just saw, a week
last
ago,
week, but nobody died in that. Is what
right.
I like the other two, but I mean there was that one as well. It's not a good look, and hopefully he's able to get any demons that he possibly has. If this is like a recurring issue and there's something more to that than just being a young kid partying, I hope they're able to identify and grab onto that and correct that early on, rather than him continuing to go down a potentially problematic path. And so this is a wake-up call. And whether or not he treats it as such will be up to Devondre Sweat. But he's a great football player. Obviously, that'll take him only so far. But the off the field is very important at the next level, as well, as we've seen with countless guys over the years. So, that's good to only be what it was.
Unless you're driving to Frisco for the Big 12 Combine, or you're headed to the airport because you don't want to spend the night up at DFW area or the Southwest at Love. Nothing good happens when you're driving around at 4:40.
4:40, yeah, man. Like that was me. Like borderline, is my alarm going off to go to Big 12? What was it? NFL? What was it? The Combine. The Combine. Yeah.
Pro Day.
I was sitting there, like, it's 4:40. I got to get up in a second. That's about when I'm going to be up, or I'm going to bed at 4:40, because it's like, it's getting a little bit late now for me. I mean, everybody else has been asleep for like 5 hours.
Yeah, you're a night owl.
I'm very much.
You write a lot and look at it. You're always doing something very early.
Never changed either. People, like, I've always been a night owl. Always will be a night owl. So yeah, sometimes that's just me going to sleep. But yeah, getting in my car after drinking at this stage, that's very much a college age decision, and one that is a bad decision, obviously.
Look, I can tell you this, that my parents and nobody when I was in college would have been mad if my friends and I had an Uber account that they were paying for, or one that we were, but we didn't have Uber. Like you had
straight up taxi.
You had to literally call a taxi from a payphone,
and that's not like, and then click, here it is,
and then stand out there and be like, yeah, it's me, and remember that you called a taxi for one.
Couldn't track those bad boys.
Yeah, you couldn't
Good
track
luck that it shows up, and it takes a lot longer than it does now.
You don't even. Let me see if I can do it now. Hey, Siri, open Uber. That's all I have to do.
It didn't do it.
It's about to.
Oh, you have the Face ID. There
Look
you go.
Look at that.
Yeah.
It just did it.
Well, what if you're slurring your words?
Well, I mean, we'll see.
Siri.
She knows. She's been around me enough. She's with me all the time.
Paul's had a few drinks. Hey, Paul.
Yeah. I see that you're going top shelf tonight. Are you sure you want to do that?
Teams set up those accounts.
But yeah,
not just parents or whoever.
But agents, here's the thing. Right now, he's betwixt teams, between Texas and whoever he's going to play for. You know who else sets up an account for them? The agent. Absolutely sets up an account
who just
for them.
lost some money too.
Pride and ego, though. Like, he's probably got a nice car. And when you're drinking, all your ideas sound great. Even the worst ones, they sound the best sometimes. So, yeah, I don't need somebody to pick me up. That's not going to be cool. I need to get in my whatever I'm driving and drive home. That'll be much easier. But, yeah, it's obviously the dumb decision. He's not the first. He won't be the last. But it's a bad look with bad timing for certain. I don't think he's going to obviously go undrafted or anything along those lines. But I do wonder
there are
how
some
much
teams
it potentially
that have been
knocks
like,
him. Yeah,
we're not going to do it until a certain point.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
they'll say, look, he made a bad decision.
But in round 4,
around 4,
course.
like they're not going to. Like,
Jerry's going to talk about what a steal he was after the draft, you know?
It didn't hurt Jalen Carter in the slightest. Now, Jalen Carter's a bit of a better player than T'Vondre Sweat, and I do say a bit because I think T'Vondre Sweat's a top 50 player in this draft because he's about the closest thing we've seen to Vince Wilfork since Vince Wilfork. But he, again, you got to make better decisions.
Yeah, you do. And so I don't know. I've seen him where he's projected to go sometime on Friday. There are thoughts that he could jump into the first round on Thursday night. I don't know if this means that of the 32 teams, 8 of them say the hell with it, we're not going to draft him. Oh, by the way, he's open in the 5th round. Listen, I don't think he's going to drop that far. But you never know. You just never know. And there will be some teams that even before this incident may have had red flags on T'Vondre Sweat because of what he admitted to them prior to what he was doing in college.
Yeah, I mean, just, again, I think we've about said it all. Like, hopefully he learns from this and doesn't make a second dumb decision or another dumb decision to find himself getting another DWI, but he'll be fine. I mean, if he slips a little bit, but he's not going undrafted, nothing along those lines. He'll still be drafted relatively highly because he's a great player, and it's the NFL. Who are we kidding? It's not like the moral authority here we're talking about. Far from it. So, yeah, this is a bad timing and bad mistake, but it's not the end of the world by any means.
All right, so there we are with that. Now,